Hello and welcome to There's No Place Like Summer Camp podcast. I'm Andrew Waterhouse, and in this week's episode we'll be going over the types of people you will meet at camp. So come on into our tent and I'll spill the beans. Hi guys, welcome to the 7th episode of There's No Place Like Summer Camp, and welcome to 2018! So excited to be here. It's going to be a cracking year, onwards and upwards. I hope you all got your resolutions sorted out for this year. And as you can probably tell, I've got a bit of a cold, so apologies if I'm a bit groggy and snotty and gross. If you're going to go to summer camp though, you should be prepared for that sort of thing because all the kids are going to be groggy and snotty and gross at some point. So for this episode, I'm just going to be one of your campers. I'm just going to be here, a little snot bag on the floor. Okay, so anyway, in this episode, we'll be going over the types of people that you're guaranteed to get at any summer camp. I have been really particular about this because I could elaborate on and on and on about all the different types of people that you will meet at camp. But these are going to be the types of people that 99.9% of all the camps are going to have these types of people. So it's a little bit of an interesting episode. I hope you can just sit back, knock back a brew, and see how you feel. So hopefully it's a more chilled episode than the rest. But I think that's allowed because it's the 2nd of January. Okay, anyway guys, we'll be moving on with the list. So first of all, we have the lifeguards. Most camps are going to have some sort of swimming activities, whether that be in a lake, in a swimming pool, in an indoor swimming pool, outdoor swimming pool, some slides, anything like that. They're going to be lifeguards, and I think that's probably the highest, one of the highest recruited specialisms. My words are all over the place. I think that's one of the highly sought after specialisms in all the camps, because not too many people have lifeguarding qualifications because they are expensive to do. I did look at it myself when I really wanted to do camp. I was like, oh my god, I don't know what specialty I can do. I don't know why a camp would want to hire me. And I was looking into doing lifeguarding for a little bit, and it would cost a couple of grand. And I was like, I'll be okay. But most camps are going to have lifeguards, and you can guarantee they're going to be the ones with the most tan by the end of camp. They're going to be some of the most fit in all of camp as well, because they've got a lot of stuff to do, and a lot of the time is spent on their arse just watching the kids swim around and make sure they don't drown. But you have to stay alert for this time as well, so it's really exhausting. You have to stay alert for 8 hours a day sat in a chair, and I can tell you that there's plenty of the staff that I know who did summer camp and they would fall asleep while on shift because it's so boring. But at the same time, they're such a tight-knit group, and you can guarantee lifeguards are going to be at any camp. Alongside the lifeguards, there's number 2, musicians. So what would camp be without music? I'm sure there's some camps out there that don't have music for maybe religious reasons or at their ceremonies and stuff, but maybe outside of those, 99,000,000% of these camps are going to have some sort of music at camp, whether that be guitarists, singers, I don't know, drummers. I'm not very good with music, if you couldn't tell. Oh, I'm so groggy. But most camps are going to have musicians there because it livens up the atmosphere, it makes it all light-hearted and enjoyable, and it's just really cool. So you're going to be guaranteed to have some musicians there. So if you're into your music, maybe you can play, maybe you want to learn, hell, go to camp and you'll be able to sit down, maybe learn a few chords or a little tune. So the musicians are going to be one of the most popular groups at camp. Number 3, sports spods. There's going to be plenty of sporting activities to do at camp, whether that be football, tennis, rugby, American soccer. I don't know. There's so many different sports. Baseball, running, fishing. all these different sports, and depending on your camp, you're obviously going to have different sports specialists. But you can guarantee there's going to be plenty of sporty people at camp. One of the main reasons that the kids are sent out to these summer camps is so they get outside, they get active, they get loads of that vitamin D from the sun, and camp have to kind of meet those parents' expectations. So there's going to be plenty of sports guys out there, and there's going to be quite a variety of specialisms as well. Of course, when you go to your upper end of camp, you're going to get those horse riding specialists and all that good stuff. So have a look around. If you're into sports, there'll be definitely a specialism out there that's wanted at some sort of camp. So no matter the sport, I'd say put it on your application form for Camp America or Camp Leaders, because there's plenty of sports out there and not everyone is qualified to teach it. So put it down and see where you get. Number 4, this is going to be one of the largest groups in this list. This is the counsellors. So at my camp, we split the counsellors from the specialists, and the specialists would be those that would go and teach the kids activities or sports or lifeguard or music, anything like that. That would be done with the specialists. But the counsellors would be those who would stay with the kids for the whole of the summer, just escorting them to activities, making sure they're okay, putting them to bed, kind of feeding them as well. There'll be plenty of activities for the counsellors, and a lot of the time it's a high ratio of counsellors to the campers. So you'll be guaranteed to have plenty of other counsellors at your camp, because it's one of the highest recruited jobs out there. It's a pretty hard job, and it can be a bit tedious when you're stuck with a load of kids for the summer, but you're going to make some cracking relationships with these children, and you'll miss them when camp comes to an end, and they'll be giving you like little gifts or sentimental things when you say your goodbyes, and it's pretty cool. I have to admit that I did miss out on that sort of thing because I was an outdoor living specialist, which like dealt with the camp outs, the campfires, and all that good stuff. Counsellors, you can guarantee, is going to be one of the most recruited for jobs. So if you're going as a counsellor, there's going to be other counsellors there. If you're not going as a counsellor, be sure to meet other counsellors when you get to camp. So this is the point in the podcast where I do a little ad, a little plug, and this is for Kontiki. If you've ever considered about doing Camp America, and maybe it's not really for you, you don't really want to be volunteering with kids all the time, you don't want to be in America perhaps, and maybe, I don't know, you want to just get a bit of wanderlust and travel a little bit for yourself, Kontiki is the place for you. So what they offer is trips for 18 to 35 year olds, and there's plenty of different countries they go to, plenty of different options as well. So I did one where I did a tour of Europe, and that lasted for 2 weeks. I'd hit all the big touristy locations, and that was like a high energy trip. So over the course of 2 weeks, we would go through the UK, France, Germany, Austria, Italy, Netherlands, and then back to the UK, all in 2 weeks. And it was pretty crazy. The amount of touristy things we did and incredible photos and memories I made, all done through Kontiki, was insane. But there's plenty of other options out there. If you're looking for something a bit more chill, a bit more, you want to meet people while you're traveling, but you don't really want to exhaust yourself while doing it. Maybe you're doing a bit of solo traveling in Thailand perhaps, and you want to meet some people before you start the proper solo bit yourself, Kontiki is the place to go. So you can go on their website. They've got some really chilled ones out there for a different range of dates as well. So if you want maybe a week in Thailand where you just do some chill things around the around the area, around the culture and the wildlife, there's plenty of different options on Kontiki's website. So if you're interested, they're actually doing some pretty decent offers. I think you can get up to 30% off at the moment. I'd highly recommend it if you're into wanderlust and travelling. and Camp America may not be your cup of tea perhaps quite yet, go check out Kentucky. It's available on my website, andrewwaterhouse.com/offer. I hope you're keeping up with all my grogginess. I'm so sorry for this. So number 5 is leadership. And of course, these are going to be the big scary guys that wander around camp making sure you're doing your jobs and that camp is running tip top. So it's not a group to be feared per se, because it's such a relaxed atmosphere at camp and it's one of the best jobs you'll ever have. So please don't get on the wrong side of the leadership team, because they are doing their jobs of making camp amazing for the kids, and by making it amazing for the kids, it's making it amazing for you. But each camp is definitely going to have some leadership team there to make sure camp is running. Typically there's going to be a director, and then there's going to be some assistant directors underneath them. Maybe you'll have some unit heads who run smaller groups of camp. Maybe there'll be some programmers who create different programs for when the campers get here, so you're not stuck on things to do during the day. So be nice to the leadership team. They are really cool. They've been at camp for plenty of years, so they know how summer camp runs like the back of their... I was going to say back of their tongue. That's not a saying. Like the back of their hand. So leadership is guaranteed to be at your summer camp. And don't be scared of them. Number 6, you don't want to be scared of these guys either. Security. Security team are there to basically make sure camp runs swimmingly. And it's really easy to see why, because when you go to camp, you think, oh my god, why do you need all these security team guarding the perimeter of the camp? Why do they need to be doing night shifts and all this good stuff? But trust me, kids are unpredictable. They will try and get up to all sorts of shenanigans, escape from their rooms and try and nick sweets from the kitchen. All this really like funny stuff that you're kind of like, oh, I wish I did that when I was a kid. But they're doing it and they're getting in a lot of trouble for it because of the security team there. They'll also be guarding the perimeter and stuff to make sure you check in, check out properly. You're not just wandering off camp and no one knows where you are. So this is going to be a very like popular group of camp where they're probably going to run a tight ship, and it's going to be interesting to see how different camps operate with their security team. But they're definitely going to have some sort of security there. They want to make sure the kids are safe. They want to make sure you're safe. And of course, in America, there's all sorts of guns and weirdos out there. So you want to make sure that your camp's running safe and the security team does a good job of it. So make sure you be nice to these guys, because it'll pay dividends if you ever need them. Or in my case anyway, I made some really good friends in the security team, and it taught me a very important life lesson, which is included in my book, and more on that later. So number 7, of course, how have I got to this point without mentioning the kids? Well, I have mentioned them a few times, but not directly. The kids are the biggest thing at camp. No matter how many staff, there's always going to be more kids. And the ratio of staff to kids is always surprising, I guess. It's kind of crazy that camp even operates with such a high match ratio. But no, it is really cool. Some of the kids you'll meet are going to like challenge your culture, your expectations, what you were as a kid, and there's going to be plenty of little subcategories to the kids as well. So you're going to have the oldest at the top of the camp thinking they're the dog's bollocks. You can have the youngest who are new, and they're like they're all like bleary-eyed to camp, much like you are. So they're going to be introduced to camp the same year that you were there. So they're going to have that same lust to get to know why camp is so cool. And you're obviously going to get some little cocky shits who are like in between the oldest, in between the youngest. And it's really funny to like have banter with them and get to know them, really, because the kids out there are really cool. You're gonna get to know them on such a level, especially if you're a counsellor. You're gonna get to know them so personally, and the kids are gonna absolutely adore you from that first minute you step into camp saying, "I'm your counsellor for the year." They're gonna love the living daylights out of you. So make sure you reciprocate it a little bit. and you'll go very far at summer camp. And finally, number 8, I couldn't mention this list without mentioning my own specialty, the outdoorsy lot. So these guys are going to be the guys at camp that set up your campfires. They're going to be the guys that toasted the marshmallows. They're going to be the guys that take you out on campsites, the hikes, the canoe trips, the trips outside of camp. These guys are going to be there. Thankfully, this was my job at camp. I have mentioned it a few times, but it was such a good job. So thankful for the opportunity of being able to do Camp America. So, if you think I missed anything off the list, maybe that's really popular type of group at camp but not mentioned on the list, please let me know. I'm available on Twitter at AndrewW09, and of course you can catch my website as well, andrewwaterhouse.com, where you can see more information about the podcast and the blog that accompanies it. There were plenty of categories of people here that I didn't mention, and I didn't really want to delve too far into this because there'll be so many different types of people at camp that this list will just be endless. So some of the types of things that didn't make the list were internationality. Is that a word? Internationality? I don't think it is. It's nationality. The different nationalities you meet at camp. The different types of staff you meet, so if they're experienced or not experienced, you could break these down so far, and it's just a little taster to tell you that the types of people you'll meet at camp are going to be insane. They're going to be so varied, so cultured, they're going to challenge you in so many different ways. I'm sure if I went back to camp for a third summer, like now, I would be very challenged once again, because each year of camp is different. You're going to new types of people each time you go, and it's such an experience. It's so hard to put into words of how good it is, but these 8 are going to be the most popular at all camps, I think, anyway. So let's have a bit of a recap. So number 1, we have lifeguards, then we got musicians, the sports bods, counsellors, leadership, security, the kids, and the outdoorsy lot. Once again, if you think I've missed anything off the list, give me a tweet at AndrewW09. And if you're interested, I do have my book still available on shop.andrewwaterhouse.com. It's available for pre-order. It's called There's No Place Like Summer Camp book, and it's the diary that I kept over my first year of doing Camp America. So it has some very interesting reads of what it was like being all new to camp and nervous and oh my god, I don't know what I've let myself in for, all the way to the end where I'm travelling with all my mates and coming back to the UK and surprising the family. It was pretty incredible, and it's a pretty incredible read, so it's available for pre-order at the moment. I'm still really working on it, and it is coming along very well. I'm so thrilled that I've been able to put words in a sentence and have them make sense and generate emotion. But anyway, I've always been bad at English. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry if this episode's been bad, because I am groggy and I'm ill and I've got man flu. So anyway, I'll see if I can make it to the next episode. I hope you have a cracking week, and I'll see you in a week's time.